As a first-year college student, I've been aware of several questions about my financial situation. Can I afford basic utilities? Sometimes keeping track and managing your finances can be a challenge, especially with a business known as life. Fortunately, there's an app that can help you by the name of Clio. Clio gives you a personal connection lacking with a major bank. She can help you manage a budget, earn cashback rewards, and gain high interest and automatic saving, meaning more save money in the long run. With its messenger-style format, you can also play weekly games and quizzes for added money. Its most intriguing figure, however, is Hype and Roast Mode. I mean, who wouldn't want to relive the days of high school slander, this time involving your finances? You can download this app through the link in the description. Really enjoy the features. They have a subscription service known as Clio Plus. Special thanks to Click Rising for sponsoring this video. And now for the featured presentation. 26 races of competition and adrenaline later, these teams and drivers missed the playoffs. For some, particularly the smaller teams, it was a positive step in the right direction for an brightened future. As for a lot of the bigger teams with high expectations, it was a crushing end at the Yard of Bricks. Millions of dollars in research work in January had failed to grant them a spot in the postseason. With so many teams and drivers at a crossroads, it's time to analyze what went wrong and what could be changed in 2020 for those organizations. Honestly, there's nothing much to write home about with Starcom Racing. Landon Cassill's statistics have been on course with 2018, with a surplus in average starting position as well as races at the finish. Heading into year 3, however, some questions lie ahead for the long-term growth. Do they retain Landon Cassill or pursue another driver on the free agent market? Not only that, but should they retain their alliance with ECR and Chevrolet? For both cases, I say stay put. Germain, Leavine, and JTG all built their operations around stable drivers before making any sort of changes. Landon is still digging the moat, and the 00 isn't ready by any means to construct the castle. Give it a year or two into Gen 7, and that could be the timing for a big move. Richard Childress Racing has had absolutely nothing to celebrate in their flagship 50th anniversary. Austin Dillon and the 3 team, no doubt they've been the biggest flop of 2019. Danny Stockman was supposed to elevate the 3 to the next level, solidly making the playoffs tied in with possibly a victory or two. Instead, the team completely collapsed in June, well out of the playoff picture as the regular season concluded. AD and crew won't have the liquor to drink away their sorrows if the slump continues into next season. Teammate Daniel Hamrick has also underwent these calamities. From beginners' miscues, horrendous luck, and the struggles of RCR, year 1 has been forgettable for the NC native. During the second half, however, the hindered progress has tapered off just a bit. 7th place at Pocono, as well as strong outings at Bristol and Las Vegas, are growing the 8 team ever so slightly. He should win Rookie of the Year and build towards consistency in his sophomore season, at least I would hope. Little less than a year after getting the promotion of his life, Daniel Hamrick is out of a job. Look, I was never a fan of Hamrick getting promoted, considering he never won a NASCAR sanctioned race. Closing out a one-and-done year, this just makes RCR's upper management look foolish. They floundered around the last 5 years because of Ryan Newman, saving them from the swoons of a post-Kevin Harvick era. Let him walk, and now the wounds of long-run performance have been completely exposed this season. They've been notorious all year for qualifying really well and sinking to 20th to 25th by the end of Stage 2. Is it really Daniel Hamrick's fault for this occurrence? Tyler Reddick may be a transcendent talent, but he's not going anywhere with the lack of speed at RCR. They lack the top-notch engineers and fresh ideas to compete for wins and playoff positions. The next move for RCR to make is simple. Promote Randall Burnett to the 8, change some roles on the technical side, and start moving in the right direction with setups and race strategies. If not, Tyler Reddick will indeed become the next Kevin Harvick, as in breaking out on a top-tier organization like Stewart-Haas Racing. As for satellite Germain Racing, 2019 has been quite impressive. Ty Dillon has netted 12 top 20 finishes and won 2 stages back in April. In fact, his average finished best Daniel Hamrick and is on level with brother Austin at RCR. The memes are dying out for the younger Dillon brother, and the Geico 13 is ensuring growth after Casey Mears gave them much needed stability. With that stated, I have one thing to say to Matt Borland. Stay off the DMAA. Do that and there should be no changes for 2020 and the long-term future. The failures of Hail Mary mode have resulted in Ricky Stenhouse Jr. missing the postseason. Crashes, blown tires, and doomful intermediate outings are why they made this video. Compared to seasons prior, there were great expectations, especially after the hot start in March. This now marks 7 years with countless head crew chiefs and great potential since 2011, with only 2 wins and a 2017 playoff run on his Cup resume. Meanwhile, Ryan Newman nearly took the 6 team to the round of 12 after the cataclysmic state with Trevor Bayne. Despite signing an extension in August, those factors were enough for Roush to pull the trigger. The Stenhouse Demolition Derby will be cancelled after Talladega, barring another team longing for a seasoned NASCAR champion behind the wheel. Taking his place will be Chris Buescher, as Jack Roush exercised an option to get the 2015 Xfinity champ behind the wheel. He's rightfully deserved this opportunity, putting to mind what he did in the 37. 16 straight top 20 finishes, an average finish of 17.8, and 4 top 10 finishes, outperforming Stenhouse in every single category, including the season point standings. Adding a consistent driver like Buescher to this lineup makes this 17 team much stronger, as well as the 2-car operation. The only flaw relies with Brian Patty as crew chief, but Buescher is fantastic at getting the feel of his race car. This insight should only blossom the chemistry between the two figures. I don't blame the Roush fans for overhyping 2020, as they have some positive momentum for the first time in over a decade. Good drivers, solid sponsorship, and decent equipment to keep them in the top 15. Crazy considering the liquidation trends of the early to mid 2010s. It's safe to say, guys, they may no longer be Kmart Racing. This signing now leaves the 37 driver list for 2020, but it shouldn't take too long to fill the void. JTG has made strides under the Hendrick umbrella, with Trent Owens and crew building expertise. Daniel Hamrick, Ross Chastain, among others, have now been thrown out as replacements. With Kroger's full-time sponsorship, honestly, they should go outside the box with this signing. Why not go after Brett Moffitt? Truck Series champion, stats producer, and a guy that can leverage the equipment. See Atlanta 2015. Tad Geschichter should get creative, especially with 2021 possibly relying less on major alliances. Fortunately, JTG at least retains Ryan Preece for the 2020 campaign. 1 top 5, 3 top 10 finishes, and a points positioning of 27th are on par for a rookie driver on a middling race team. With one 36-race grind under his belt, I fully expect to see Preece lead the organization for the next 2 to 3 years. He's proven his skill on the modifieds, and the 47 could be a fringe playoff contender much like the 37 this season. As much as I get on a Go Fas Racing, Archie St. Hilaire's single-car organization has thrived with the new aero package. Corey LaJoie might just be the next Matt Dibenedetto, just lacking of a big break on a major team. In fact, his average finish of 25.8 best DeBurritos mark from 2017 to 2018, and he only has 3 DNFs thus far. It could be alliance time for the 32 team, as rumors point to a potential partnership with Stewart-Haas Racing. If Go Fas can get a lot of the benefits and perks without being controlled like LFR currently is, I would pursue this endeavor. They certainly have the wheel power and personnel to get results. Better engines would definitely make them a top 25 team at the very worst. Front Row Motorsports, honestly, they've been a disappointment year to year. Their 3 drivers are among the bottom 4 series regulars after placing 25th and 26th one campaign ago. Michael McDowell and the 34 Loves Ford Mustang are easily carrying the torch. Drew Blickensderfer has gotten them extra speed in qualifying, coupled with strong runs at Loudon and Watkins Glen. Rookie Matt Tifft, meanwhile, has had a terrible rookie campaign, currently the worst full-time driver on the tour. The biggest disappointment, however, has to be David Reagan. The 38 has had some inconsistent finishes, and DNFs dropped their average finish by nearly 3 positions compared to last year. Longing for more family time, the Georgia resident has decided to step away in 2020. Arguably one of the greatest wastes of a career within this decade. Scouting for a replacement has begun, but honestly, that's not the option they should pursue. Bob Jenkins needs to rent the 3rd charter to another team, at least for the short distance window. 2019 was eminent that FRM wasn't ready for expansion, and they need to develop the performance of its Ford Mustangs. Michael McDowell and Matt Tifft are great drivers to build around, so hopefully management makes the right decision. The career of Daniel Suarez is slowly becoming a Shakespearean tragedy, rallying in mid-August, early September to rejoin the playoff picture, only to come up short at Indianapolis. 4 position points with the difference between playoff racing and the agonies of missing the cut once again. With Cole Custer serving up Xfinity glory, there's a chance it's one and done for Mexico's pride and joy. You better believe I'm already loading my ammo for when he gets screwed over, considering he's the least of the 41 team's issues. One organization treading in the right direction has to be Richard Petty Motorsports. Not only has the iconic 43 stabilized funding, but the results are lighting up on the score tower. Bubba Wallace has scored 3 top 15 finishes in the last 6 races. This is compared to just 1 in the first 23 events, and that was a 15th place during the rain-shortened Daytona race. While he's finished 3rd at Indianapolis, Richmond was by far his most impressive run. On a night where several young drivers struggled, Bubba Wallace brought his A-game from the rear of the field. He finished 12th, concluding all 400 advertised laps on mark with the leader. They may not be a handshake away from liquidation and could enter as a dark horse playoff contender next season. Just don't let Dale Stoutmans walk and hire a new crew chief in late January once again. The infinite regression has been reached, with Jimmie Johnson and the iconic 48 missing the playoffs. Every engineer, crew member, and personnel on this team now have this troubling occurrence on their resume, a true embarrassment for all involved. Fortunately, Cliff Daniels and crew have hit the reset button, and it looks like they're finally getting it together. 7-time has qualified top 10 in each of the past 5 races, with finishes of 11th, 10th, and 9th since missing the postseason. At Richmond, Jimmie Johnson completely skipped his pit box and still bested his 3 playoff teammates. If they can keep this up for 7 more weeks, I like their chances of at least securing a playoff spot in 2020. Through his 13 full-time campaigns, 2019 was undoubtedly the most Paul Menard season yet. 0 top 5s, 4 top 10s, yet only 6 finishes 20th or worse all season long. Despite the influx of Menard's sponsorship, the Wisconsin native has called it a career. He will forever be known as NASCAR's Mendoza line of the 2010s. A driver never good enough to make the playoffs, but not bad enough to warrant losing his ride. I wish him nothing but the best in his next chapter. His departure now leaves the iconic 21 lacking a wheelman for 2020. Many different options, but there's one particular driver suited for this opportunity. Enter Matt Dibenedetto. A character that centered his chips 1 year ago has capitalized with the JGR Alliance. 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s, and an average finish of 18.8. Driving an outdated Toyota Camry, he almost bested Denny Hamlin to win the Bristol Night Race, one of the biggest events of the year. The People's Champion has become a staple driver for Leavine family racing, something they've lacked since the early 2010s. Because of the brutal realities under the JGR umbrella, Bob Leavine is forced to release him at season's end. Seeking an opportunity for 2020, Matt Dibenedetto and the Wood brothers came to a deal. Remarkably, Menards and Motorcraft decided to stay on, so they didn't need to add any extra sponsorship to put this together. Talk about a possible steal for the decade, not only for the Wood brothers but the entire Ford camp. If Paul Menard is mediocrity, imagine what an overachiever like Dibenedetto could bring to the table. He has a great chance of making the playoffs and quite possibly could earn that first career win as early as next spring. As for Leavine, the worst kept secret for the last month is no longer a mystery. Christopher Bell ka-chows his way to the 95, hoping to become a rookie sensation missing since TRD teammate Denny Hamlin in 2006. Not only does he get a Cup caliber crew chief in Jason Ratcliffe, but LFR gets more enhanced tools and equipment. These added luxuries will only build on the progress Dibenedetto crafted. I expect C-Bell to compete for a playoff spot and even a few victories next season. TRD sounds like they're 100% committed compared to Eric Jones in 2017. One factor lost in the transaction relies with Rheem becoming a primary sponsor of the 95. If Eric Jones underperforms next season, no doubt will Christopher Bell be in the 20s starting with 2021. With Bell moving up, that could clear the path for another Jones to finally get his big break. It could be a long time coming considering 3 years in JGR Xfinity, and 2021 Speed Weeks will no doubt be entertaining to watch. So anyways, this is NRF signing out, and just remember, life's a beach and then you drive.